அது photo எடு. Oh, wow.
V-shaped flying spider.
Oh God.
Birds which feed exclusively on smaller prey. There is pelican sitting there now. They will feed on medium-sized fishes. Even among the fishing birds, there are certain group of birds which only go for only smaller collection of fish. Some birds go for bigger. Some the size of fish is not available in that particular location. They will migrate to some other region. That's why they called us local migrants. Locally, they will go for food in search of food. They will not hunt for season. It is very close going. This is called as greater cormorant. What the flock which are growing a little cormorant, just now you see now it is called as greater cormorant. So little cormorant, greater cormorant, and there is another bird species called Indian shad. They all look similar. So three varieties. Black color bird. If you look into the binocular, they have a silvery line on their wings, right? And that is called smaller in size, little cormorant. And slightly bigger than that is called Indian shad. Indian shad. If you go and refer on book, you can easily identify the character. And little bigger than that is called greater cormorant. This greater cormorant have a white color throat. This portion, this chin and the throat is little bit white in shadow. But little cormorant doesn't have that white color shadow. Small green. Okay. So their main role is to control the insect populations like honeybees, dragonflies. In a food chain, all these are playing a major role. இந்த பாருங்க இப்போ இவருக்கு நீங்க தெரியுதா உங்களுக்கு வீக் எங்க கலர் black கலர்ல இருக்கு பாருங்க smaller bird நிறைய birds பறக்கும் நம்ம பார்க்கலாம் வெயிட் பண்ணி can you able to see this இதோட மூக்கு பாருங்க okay how they look தெரியுதா உங்களுக்கு லெக்கும் black இருக்கு wing black color so what is the name of the bird இப்போ நீங்க பாத்தீங்க என்ன பேர் என்ன little egret 4 varieties don't forget little egret intermediate egret large egret cattle egret wherever cattle are there you can able to see the cattle egrets yeah because in Tamil we call it unnikum because wherever the cattle moves it just disturb the insects come down in the grass so this cattle egret collect those insects and feed on it and even it can travel அது ஒரு பாரு இந்த போது பத்தி பறந்து போச்சு இந்த போது பாரு பறந்து அதுக்கு பேர் வந்து swallows is swift படிச்சிருக்கீங்க நம்ம swift car இருக்குல்ல that is a representative of the swift but whatever now moving is swallows these swallows also insect feeder they also help to control இந்த மாதிரி உயரத்துல உட்கார்ந்து பார்த்தா தெரியுமா இந்த மாதிரி உயரத்துல உட்கார்ந்துருப்பாங்க உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இந்த மாதிரி பூச்சிட்டு அதெல்லாம் ஏர்ல நிறைய so many insects are there in the air அது எல்லாத்தையுமே இந்த மாதிரி birds தான் பார்த்துருப்பாங்க இது you look at the calls and structures calls புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு call புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு வந்து short birds they have a very sharp beak capable to catch the insects so based on the intake of food the birds structure those feeding on the margin of the land they have a long range cormorant. What's the name? Greater or minor? Turn it.
Black.
അത് ഡിഫറെന്റ് ഇല്ല 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 ഇമ്മ ഒരു കൂടെ അത് ഡിഫറെന്റ് This is called as grey heron. Grey heron. That is called grey heron. Grey heron. Heron. Herons are, they have a different colored plumage. Cattle and herons. So this is purple heron. Grey heron.
This is small heron. What is this?
Cormorants, little cormorants.
Oh, what is that?
Black winged stilt, ma'am.
Oh, this is.
Black winged stilt. This picture.
Yeah.
Beak is red in color, na? Beak is red in color, right?
Yeah.
So this is Caspian tern. Madam Kirtan. This is
You see, I'll see it later.
this is
You have to share all your photos.
Painted
with me.
stork.
painted stork. One heron, one grey heron and one painted stork. Can you able to see the difference between two? It is having a snake kind of head. It is folding the head, and this is open with painted stork. Watching birds, their activity, it is actually pacify our inner soul and give peace in our mind. Bird watching is a wonderful habit. Everyone should go and admire the nature of nature. Know the flight pattern. If you are not able to identify the bird with the color and things, the flight pattern, the wing spread, the structure. So there are various characters. With various characters, we can easily find out the name of the bird. So even the silhouette means shadow. With that silhouette also we can able to identify which bird it is. Characters. Some have very strong and bold wings. Some of them have small wings and shoulders, wing shoulders, tail length, spread are like that. So wing shapes, neck shapes, all. Okay, now you can get two birds are like a duck.
Spotted.
How many species we have identified so far? 10. Name it up.
4 types of cigarette. Cigarette, Indian cigarette,
Here it will come down to
catalytic.
Now what we are seeing is 21 species. But more than that we have to identify the species. But the population or the species density is very less compared to any other natural plants. Indicates that the water quality is water has a quality. They depend upon this marshy or any other animals. Predations. இவர் முட்டை போட்டுச்சுன்னா இவர்லேருந்து முட்டையிலே பாம்பெல்லாம் சாப்பிடும். 20 எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் 20யும் சர்வைவ் ஆகாது. 22 or 1 survive. Black-headed tern. So terns alone not terns, gulls. Caspian tern and black-headed gulls. So we have seen two species. One is tern, another one is gulls.
The shooting star.
So the birds with the red beak is called tern, and black-head.
When you go to the bathroom on Earth, you're relying on gravity.
This is eco-sand in space. Listen to this. In
If they
space.
shut off gravity, it would be a mess. And you'd float off the toilet. So when we designed our space toilet, first it has to have a seat belt on it to hold you down. And then we decided to separate solids and liquids because they're easier to store that way. So we just have a tube that you pee into, and it has air pulled into the tube. So it's not a big deal. For the women, there's a cup fits up against them. For the guys, it's just like a little funnel. You just pee into this tube, and it goes into a sewage tank. But the solids that come out of your body, that's a harder problem to solve. And it's an important medical one, because on Earth, everything falls on the floor. But in space, it's going to float around. So it'll really make you sick. If you re-ingest something that came out of your body, it will really make you sick. And we can't afford to get that sick. So we designed a toilet that instead of gravity pulling everything into the toilet, it has air flow. There's air pulled down into the toilet. Sort of windy when you're sitting there, but it pulls everything out of your body. Everything that comes out of your body gets pulled down into the toilet by the air. And then in the storage tank, we just expose that to the vacuum of space. So it basically just freeze dries everything. So it kills all the bacteria so that there's no smell. And then we just store it. And then when you have a whole bunch of it stored, we put it in a little unmanned supply ship, and we undock it, and it burns up in the atmosphere. So the next time you see a beautiful shooting star going across the sky, that's what it might be.
So I'm talking eco-sanitation. That number last to the polo and the history part of polo. The only way a sanitary system can work in the vulnerable environment of space is where solids and liquids are separated, and you don't carry 10 liters of water for every flush, and you cannot. So this is the future of sanitation. This is how Epic was in the beginning. This is the two dogs that were buried here. Just a few minutes. This is how it was. The rainwater harvesting, the water. The water diviner who told me there was water. He was a big fraud. Millets. When it was inaugurated. plan. The inside. Our CM presenting the PM with millets of Tamil Nadu as a gift instead of a Tanjore shawl or a this thing or something. Just hold on, Kuka. These are the women we train.
Actually, very inspiring, ma'am. The desert art is really inspiring. How they draw.
அது அவர் உடச்சிட்டாரு. அந்த butterflies இதுன்னு சொல்லணும்.
ஆ,
பேசிட்டீங்களா?
யார்கிட்ட?
Butterflies, dragonflies அதுவும் பேசிடணும்.
அதுல இந்த இது டிவில சொல்லி.
இது கொஞ்சம் சொல்லிடுங்க.
ஆ.
அன்னைக்கு you showed 14 varieties or something.
ஆமா.
அது சொல்லிடுங்க.
சரி மேடம், சரி.
The birds we got here in the freshwater lake. It's our own independence. It's our Independence Day. This is Diwali in Epic. Right? It's beautiful. Okay, so this is my place. I'm sorry I don't have any coffee. These are our products which we have made, and the products idella potu Subbalakshmi potu. We have short videos on all the products that we have made. That is all the organic pesticides, organic fertilizer, then the pulverized products. Somebody came here and we showed him how drumstick leaf was made into powder, and he said, I just bought this at a fancy price in Fab India. So all these things are fancy things now all over the place, but we make it simple. Millet படம் இருக்கா? இல்ல, அந்த millet இல்ல. சுப்புலட்சுமி பண்ண millet. இதோட ஒரு millet படம், சுப்புலட்சுமி millet படம் இருக்கா? இல்ல, இது இல்ல. இது வேண்டாம், இது வேண்டாம். இது வேண்டாம். இன்னொன்னு millet ஒண்ணு இருக்குது. எடுத்து வைக்கலையா இன்னும்? இருக்காது. Okay, now as far as I am concerned, this is not an NGO, this is not a trust, this is nothing. This is Shanta Sheela Nair and her pension money I am spending on this. I don't
Great,
charge
madam.
anybody
Actually,
anything
we
for all
have
this.
to-
I allow
We
people
have
to
to
come and
appreciate
I
that.
just want to.
Spending own money is some.
No, it's my pension money I can afford to because I don't support anyone. My son is a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force and he was recently leading the Surya Kiran team which flew across the Ahmedabad cricket stadium. My son was the flight commander for that, wing commander Siddesh Karthik. I'm very proud of him. Anyway, so that's a different life that so I have got this little that I can spend on this kind of thing. So a lot of women we are trying to teach livelihood skills. And then lifestyles, and a lot of people from villages come and then they see this kind of building and then they say we're spending such a lot of money on on buying the most expensive thing, and this can be done so much cheaper and you spend less in solar energy. I'm trying to get wind energy, some thing which can probably work when solar doesn't work, wind will be more, so that's a possibility. A lot of potential in trying to do more things. So the idea is sustainable lifestyle, sustainable livelihoods, and sustainable agriculture. Agriculture is very important. We are all dependent on the fine grains. In agriculture itself, there is a caste discrimination. It's called the fine grains and the coarse grains. Fine grains are the so-called rice and wheat. I call it the politics of grains. I have been concerned about it from the last 30 years. The others are called coarse grains, and they are supposedly the poor man's food. So the poor man's food so happens grows in non-irrigated lands, in rain-fed lands, and they are what keep the land healthy. Now those crops having, in Tamil Nadu I can give you the figure, there used to be more than 20 lakh hectares of millets of different, we have about 7-8 varieties of millets here itself. In North India you have jawar, bajra, all those kind of things, you have the kamba, varga, all these kind of things. Anyway, these were the foods of the local people. We completely demolished that by giving rice and wheat through a public distribution system. People stopped eating this, and today we are the diabetic capital of the world. Diabetes is a lifestyle disease. It does not come because of genetics or any other thing. It's the kind of food that you eat and the kind of lifestyle that you lead that leads to diabetes. We are the diabetic capital of the world. Rural India has got diabetes. People come here, I ask them how many of you have diabetes. They tell me, ask us how many don't have. It's almost a kind of more than a pandemic, an endemic. It's of the whole population. That's because the food that we're eating, a lot of it is polished rice and polished this thing which has got nothing, which is bad for you. And parota has become a Tamil food. You have Tirunelveli parota, Tuticorin parota. This bloody maida is the worst thing you can eat. And Kerala is famous for Malabar parota. That was a place with tapioca and rice and fish, and they are eating Malabar parota. See, this maida culture and palm oil culture has invaded us and created differences in our food style and our lifestyle habits, and created all the medical problems. And of course, organic farming, I don't have to tell you about the ill effects. I used to be fertilizer commissioner of India. I was responsible for all the poison that went into the country at one stage. Today I am a complete convert trying to tell people not to use chemical fertilizers, and that we can get to say. The important thing is people are worried that if you don't use all these things, how can you produce enough rice and wheat? The point is that you have to move away from rice and wheat. You have to move to the other grains which were the grains of our people, and at least one meal, if you have millets or some other grains, it will contribute to your health and also to the well-being of smaller marginal farmers who are on marginalized lands. Who are not, you don't have to fight for Kaveri and Ganga water and all that, because you need only rainwater for those crops. And they are much healthier food. Besides that, another point that I want to emphasize, and here I have a lot of tubers. Tubers were a very important part of our food. All tribal people ate tubers. There were different types of things, yams and other things which grow under the soil, which are high density of nutrients is very high in a tuber crop. So if you diversify your food to local vegetables, local tubers and local grains, there is no need for any food scarcity at all. And also perhaps you address the issue of water scarcity. If you have eco-sanitation where you don't use water for a toilet, your toilets will function better and your water is also saved. These are these are things which are difficult for you to accept when you hear it first, but I show the space thing only to show that this is the only potential in the world of tomorrow. This eco-san toilets are now quite popular. I have the principal of Pathshala living in a house nearby where he is regularly using eco-san toilet, both upstairs and downstairs. He's got a living model. He has offered his property as Epic 2. So next time you come, maybe I can show you those working models of modern toilets which are eco-san toilets. You can sign your name quickly. I think I have to take Gomati back, otherwise she will be thrown out of her job. I just hijacked her from 5 o'clock in the morning till 8 and it's already past 8. I have to give you breakfast in between. Sorry guys, I don't have anything to feed you. If you come at leisure some other time with more friends, and we can organize a little party for you.
So, I give you an added information to that. Instead of making this as an infrastructure area, high-rise building, madam, keep it as such. Because instead, she is giving a habitat for so many insects and butterflies. And if you look around the things, there are Kattasingi, one plant, there are flowering plants also that eat edibles are there. For which there are some group of insects like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers alone, wingless grasshoppers, land-face grasshoppers, green grasshoppers, varieties of grasshoppers I have recorded here. Apart from that, not many butterfly species also I have recorded. So can you able to crimson rose, common flight butterflies, angled castor, common leopard, blues, grassellos. So there are so many varieties of butterflies also I have identified in and around this campus. Not only butterflies, even dragonflies also. You know, this is a freshwater body. These dragonflies normally occur in the water. They are biological indicators of water quality. When the water it is good, then only we can able to witness the dragonflies. Here I have seen ditch jewel. There is a dragonfly named ditch jewel. Means in ditch, but it is a jewel. So and then red marsh dart. So dragonflies and damselflies I have recorded here, and I have a quick survey.
I never heard of
wish-
damselflies. Dragonflies and damselflies.
Yeah. So damselfly is nothing but a slim, slendered bodied thing. A dragonfly is little bigger than that. Then bigger than that is called as darner. Parrot-tailed darner, long-tailed darner, blue-tailed darner. So varieties of insects. They are living. This is their trait. Actually, EPIC is a habitat for so many diverse floral and faunal species. Not only higher one, even the smaller insects also playing a crucial role in the ecosystem.
My point is also to demonstrate that this is basically an urban layout. This is a housing layout.
Yeah.
And I have converted it into a biodiverse, rich environment. You can continue to live inside here. You don't have to sacrifice your life in terms of a regular house. You can continue to live inside. And students of Satyabama University from the School of Architecture who were studying sustainable architecture came here because they hadn't seen a real building with sustainable architecture. So I asked them to paint and they've written their names there. One of the professors, who is the professor of urban landscape, he said, "You have given us a new idea of what urban landscaping can be all about. All landscaping is beautifying, is making pretty lawns and pretty, tulips and some exotic flowers and things like that, and you make it look pretty. But the thing is, this is very beautiful on its own. Nature has its own beauty which is unrivaled. And then you have this burst of biodiversity in terms of, we have a lot of snakes also here, don't get worried. My Kaliappan sleeps here, the snake sleeps there. They are fine with each other. We live in the same ecosystem. Actually, I tell him this is his place. We came and invaded here. He was living happily here. This was his place, and we have intruded here. So this understanding of cohabitation, where you are not the important being, you are just one of the beings. In fact, you are the least important. Most of the other species, if they are extinct, it can cause imbalances. But if you are extinct, nothing will happen. The world will flourish. This planet will flourish. Anyway, that's a different story. Deepesh is a young man who was in the corporate sector, led a lifestyle which all of us want to aspire to. With me, what is that? Nike shoes and that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's a little bit that I know. And he has left all that and he has started his own venture on solid waste management. Just a few words, Deepesh.
So I run a social enterprise called Nilayan. So we mainly focus on composting, home composting and community composting. So for example, on olden days we used to have a large pit where we can put all our food waste, food scraps into it and we can compost it. Right now space is a constraint. So what I do is we have come up with a model, it is called as Kamba. So with that you can have it in your balcony and you can add all your kitchen waste and compost it. So this contributes towards 80% of your household waste. If you take your garbage bag, you'll have 60 to 80% of kitchen waste only. 20% will be recyclable waste and 10% will be toxic waste, which is sanitary waste and batteries and all those things. So our goal is through only the 10%. Right now, Chennai city, if you take, we produce about 6,400 tons per day. Everything ends up in this marshlands. So again, it is endangering our habitat, right? Yes, and it goes to a soil and all. So we are mainly focusing on aerobic composting model. So there are 3 models, if you ask me, on composting. One is aerobic, that is with the help of oxygen. So with the help of oxygen, it will not smell. It will only release carbon dioxide. If you take anaerobic is the older method, that is pit composting. That releases methane and also hydrosulfuric acid, which is a odor gas. So basically you will get smell. That is not feasible for apartments or households. And then vermicomposting. Vermicomposting again, you need to be careful on your what you put inside. So basically, vermicomposting, dairy, meat, and citric waste cannot go inside. It will affect the earthworms. So only the best model would be aerobic. So that is what we are mainly focusing on. Right now, we have helped around 200 plus families to start composting. Through that, we divert about 9,000 kilograms of waste per month. Yes,
So what you are
that's our
doing
impact.
that one, they are using their own compost?
Yes, they will help them set it in a balcony, terrace, or garden. Yes. And for
In our
apartments,
building we are doing composting. We have terracotta tree thing. We put cocoa peat in it and put all the kitchen waste into that and let it, we keep on putting cocoa peat each time we put a bill, and then one pot goes below, the new pot comes up. By the time the new pot is full, the pot below is fully composted. And we are able to use it straight away for as fertilizer. We use it for our kitchen gardens in our terrace and all that, and I bring some here also.
so it's like eco-sanitation
Yeah.
again.
Okay,
your
the
waste
last
has
one-
80% moisture. So when you add
Yeah.
cocoa peat, it will
The
absorb.
whole idea of a lot of waste is to demoisturize it, to dehydrate it. Then you are dealing with volumes which are easier to deal with, and that is a better way of degeneration than adding water. In most of the things we are adding water and creating a compound which is impossible to retrieve. This is the last film this is a film that I made. It's called The Kitten Lesson. It's how the kitten teaches a boy a little lesson. It's completely just music. A wonderful director called Ambat, Mohan Ambat. What's his name? Some Ambat, a very famous director of old time. He did this from the National Film Development. National Film Development Corporation. Sound earlier. The cat makes its own little plate and then covers it up, and the boy gets a lesson from that. Actually, little children start clapping their hands because the message goes to. I've shown it in Northeast, all over the country, and actually the director told me it's impossible to get a cat to do it on camera. I will do a cartoon for you. I said cartoon will not carry the same message. So he went after this cat for 6 months, and this little kitten, before he could get a shot of her actually defecating and closing and all that. Then he adopted this cat and he calls it Badmash, and he is living with the director now. This boy is also grown up now, and this is such a beautiful film. It was entered for a lot of competitions and all, but I don't know what happened. Anyway, it's just 3 minutes, but I think they did a wonderful job of carrying
Now
the message.
this lesson is needed for all the city men who are
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Anyway, now let me not. The enna has cut that dog. Hey, Bilippi, what are you doing? Hey, that girl. Okay, boys and girls, any feedback from any of you?
Such a beautiful experience.
It is amazing. We get to know a lot of things
Yeah,
which
I
is
just
around
gave
us.
you little bursts. I can talk more about it, but then your breakfast will be affected, your classes will be affected too.
No.
No class today.
It's a study week for us.
Oh, okay, then this is the best study you can have. Actually, it's a great study. Nothing, because now when people call me to speak in colleges and all that, I say I'm not coming anymore. I don't want to make these PPT presentations and talk about something which you have no idea. Come here and experience it. See me talk about it. And I'm sharing my. Today I talk to farmers without their being able to tell me, do you know anything about it? I say I have my experience. I have lost. I know the pain of waiting for the rain and then the flooding of the rain. Everything I have gone through myself. I mean, it's very minor. I don't depend on it for a living. It's not like people who depend on it for a living. My pension is enough to get me through. But at least I am trying to demonstrate life. I go through ups and downs of all this. And we have ideas of, I'm wanting to do, I've started a fellowship program for students like you to come and work. I can't pay you anything, but you can work on this property or Muttukad or anything around, and we can call you an EPIC fellow. And we have some agricultural engineering students, 2 of them have become fellows. Also want to encourage volunteers. Deepesh comes regularly to volunteer, and I want to encourage students who will be my volunteer force, who will explain these things to visitors. Now I am doing all the explanation. I want them to explain. I will stand in and do the additionalities, but they must feel ownership of this and understand what they are talking about. So boot camps, volunteers and fellowships we want to do from EPIC. And EPIC 2 is on the way. There's another person. Amar Ramesh has said he wants to do EPIC 3.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got a little
Karan
follow.
Bhavanam.
So Dakshin Chitra, you've gone to Dakshin Chitra?
Yeah, I went.
Yeah, Dakshin Chitra wants to collaborate with me, and they said that. I said don't replicate. The idea is add, bring new things into to understanding. See, in EPIC 2, for example, I want to show a lot of wastewater treatment.
The name itself is a great name. The name itself is a great
EPIC, yeah.
Epic
It
is
just so
epic itself.
happened,
Yeah.
we were thinking of all sorts. I said Prakriti, and these Tamil people said we can't get that word in my mouth. Then they said some Tamil words which nobody else could get in their mouth. And then I said Eco Park and Information. First I called it Eco Park and Knowledge Center. Then I put I there, it became nice. Epic. So now I see there is Epic chocolate and Epic, everything else is Epic. But then the word Epic stuck. And so that's why it's called EPIC. And I have women who were trained by us who now run a catering service. So next time you come, we can organize lunch for you. They make all herbal food, they make herbal tea, herbal Kolkata, all lovely things made out of millets and all that. I had a big gathering of, there are a lot of interesting, any of you are interested, there are a lot of first generation farmers in these 2 roads. OMR, like Amar Ramesh and others, who are mostly from IT, but also very famous scientists from DRDO, from the Defense Research Organization. He's got 6 patents for cancer drug. He is a farmer today. I saw him, I couldn't recognize him. He was wearing a torn lungi and a torn banyan. I said, this can't be the DRDO scientist work with Abdul Kalam. And I was pleasantly surprised. He told me something amazing, and I'm trying to do that. The importance of termites. And one day you have to come to listen to him talk about termites and why termites and how termites. So I'm in the process of setting up a termite there. And then we will record all those things, and just like earthworms, termites are 100 times more powerful in dissolving everything around them. And the termites, I believe, when they look for a place, they search for a place which is geomagnetically important for them. They are blind, but they make a huge labyrinthine household system inside the earth. They have poured concrete into old termite mounds and come up with a block which looks like a maze. Such wonderful architecture they have done. Anyway, so termites usually go to a place on their own with a magnetic zone. It's a geomagnetic zone. And almost all old Tamil places of worship is a termite mound. And usually they said there are serpents there. He said there are no serpents there. Serpents come when the termites have gone. They take those holes to give. But because it's a geomagnetic zone, it creates that aura. And that's why people were going there. Hi, Sweetie. Were going there to, felt some this thing. And Dr. Harina, that's his name, he lived a fabulous, I can tell you stories about him. He took me into a reserve forest where there's a real termite thing. And you can see the difference, Around that, there is so much of more growth than the rest of the forest. And local people, because it's a reserve forest, it is still there. It's not obliterated. This is in Maraimali Nagar. So I'm saying, like this, we discovered so many things about nature. Termites, we want to just kill all the termites and get rid of the termites. And, when I talked about termites, even in my group, they said they have brought palaces down. They can bring palaces down. A termite can bring a palace down. That's the capability of the termite. You and I may need to use a nuclear bomb, but they can bring it down. They can do it. But I'm saying, so, in nature, there is no waste, there is no weed. Everything has a purpose. Okay, I'll end on that. I think now the sun is shining, you can all go. You can hear the birds.
Yes.
You can hear a lot of the birds now.
This one is chirping sound.
Yeah.
Chirp, chirp, chirp. This is Blitz reed warbler. It's a migratory. Again, it's a migratory species. Blitz reed warbler. Here another sound came, that is bulbul.